Hey, everybody. Here's my answer to question four. What makes educational and school psychologists leaders in evidence based school intervention? So I decided to rephrase the question to what makes educational and school psychologists potential leaders in evidence based school intervention? And it's quite clear to me now that there is a substantial amount of responsibility tied to the work of a school psychologist. The potential for being a proponent of positive change in the schools is huge. It was only after having assumed the responsibility of my current role, in which I work closely with students who are experiencing behavior and learning difficulties, that I realized just how important evidence based interventions are in the classroom. I also never knew just how vital a role school psychologists play in implementing these interventions. So, we all know that simply acquiring the title of school or educational psychologist doesn't suddenly transform you into this ethical, driven advocate for children. While the knowledge base may be there, simply knowing what is required of an LSSP isn't enough. I'm convinced that it is one's ambition and desire to make change happen that truly make them a leader. And without it, all we have is lost potential. In addition, I believe there are several areas in which school psychologists must be knowledgeable in order to perform their duties competently, as well as a number of obstacles that might get in the way. One of the obstacles that I mentioned in my report has to do with the shortages of LSSPs. It is clear that the extreme shortage of school psychologists may oftentimes lead many LSSPs to perform in less than desirable conditions. After all, according to the NASP recommendations for comprehensive school safety policies, only a fraction of students in need actually receive mental health services, and the availability of school based mental health professionals remains inadequate to meet the mental health needs of our children and youth. It's difficult to implement evidence based school interventions when you are stretched so thin, as LSSPs quite commonly are. Another needed area is research competency, a solid knowledge base and research that is related to best practices in all aspects of the field are a must to ensure that we are practicing in our greatest capacity, as well as implementing evidence based practices that we know are backed by research. D'Antino et al. Make a good point when they remind us that the term evidence based practices is often freely applied without even actually considering the implications of the meaning evidence based. And I believe this is where our knowledge and expertise comes in. School psychologists must also become very familiar with the wide range of measurement tools that are available for use, including the psychometric properties of each, so that they are skillful in their ability to choose depending on the situation. And then we have to be able to interpret the data obtained from these tools. This can be difficult as there are various methods and models to choose from, and we've got to be able to back up what we choose to use, whether it be cross battery or the CSEP model, for example. So that can be pretty difficult. But in conclusion, simply knowing what is best practice, how to write competent reports, or how to evaluate research, for example, is not enough. And I think it is safe to say that there are several obstacles, so many more than what was mentioned above, to being able to perform our jobs well. This knowledge base, while it is crucial to the role of the educational and school psychologist, and it's what makes us so unique and valuable in our field. However, I feel as though it is determination, self-efficacy, work ethic, etc., that allows us to be the true leaders in evidence-based school interventions. And without it, all we have is just potential. Thank you.